This is an article that came out January 6, 2018 in the Daily Journal, and I will leave the link to this article in the description box. Overdose deaths reach an all-time high. It's an image no parent wants to see. A little girl sitting on dirt with dried out leaves and flowers, looking back at her grandfather. In front of her stands a tombstone bearing her mother and unborn sister's name. That tombstone isn't just a memorial. It marks the end of 2 lives taken last February by a heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl overdose in Kankakee County, but that's only 2 of the 56 people who died last year in the county through drug overdoses. 56. That was an all-time high for Kankakee County, and it marked another year in which overdose deaths have continued to climb in an opioid plague that has grown exponentially. 56. If that's not enough to catch your eye, just know that last year, Kankakee County's overdose death rate per 100,000 people was more than 3 times greater than Will County's. In an effort to combat the plague, Kankakee County Coroner Bob Gessner has armed police throughout the county with Narcan, an antidote for opiates. He has pushed for more education, and his office has gathered more detailed statistics on those who have died from overdoses. Here is a breakdown of last year's data. The total, 56. The highest overdose death total since the coroner's office started tracking such deaths in 2010. It's amazing how many of these places don't track their deaths. That's why only 22 states report to the Center for Disease Control and not all 50, because they're not all required to report their numbers. And plus, I think they're ashamed of how it would look if all 50 states did report it. You know, everything about this place is about deception. It's nothing new. The total has continued to trend upward since 9 people died from overdoses in 2012. Gessner attributed last year's substantial increase to heroin being more accessible, as well as dealers lacing it with fentanyl, which is used to reduce pain for cancer patients, and carfentanil, which is used as a tranquilizer for large animals. While 56 is a record high, it could have been worse. Police throughout the county recorded 27 saves by administering Narcan. Gessner said emergency responders have revived more than 100 more people through Narcan. Gessner added that there were 20 cases in which opiates were found in someone's system, but were not the cause of death. Last year, the county averaged 51 deaths per 100,000 people. Will County, which had 104 overdose deaths, 75 of which were caused by heroin, averaged 15 per 100,000 people. That just shows how concentrated the overdose plague is in Kankakee County. Age: Christian Benson was 7 months pregnant and just out of rehab when the 32-year-old mother of 4 and her unborn child, Hannah, died from a heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl overdose. Hannah was the youngest overdose death last year, while Christian fell in the age bracket that had the most overdose deaths. 17 people ages 30 to 39 died from overdoses. People ages 50 to 59 had the second most overdose deaths with 15, followed by ages 40 to 49 with 11. That's a damn shame. With a 67-year-old being the oldest death. The average overdose death age in the county was 41 years old. Gender. Men accounted for 2/3 of overdose deaths at 37. That alone toppled 2016's overdose death total. Women accounted for the other 19 overdose deaths. Race. Whites accounted for 47 overdose deaths, which is 84% of last year's total. Blacks accounted for 8, while one person was categorized as other. So it was probably a biracial person. 84% were white. Wow. And what makes me laugh, I had a troll come and type in my comment section, "You act like black people don't do drugs." Well, when it comes down to opioids, we really don't do that much. Now, y'all trying to over exaggerate some recent stories, but if you look at those stories real close, the ones that I saw, they were picking data from over 20 years ago and putting a story out today as if this was still happening. So it's very deceptive, y'all. You really have to read the article and make sure they're not digging something from the past and trying to carry on like it's something that's happened recently. Remember, we're in the land of deception. Time of death. Friday was the deadliest day for overdose deaths, followed by 16 on Thursday. Okay, so on Friday, they had 16 deaths. So Friday seems to be a deadly day in the county. And Thursday is the next deadliest day with 11. 7 people died on both Saturday and Sunday. So there you go. It's one of many counties across this country. And it's pretty sad to see what's going on. With Fridays being so high, that tells me people are getting their checks and spending it on these drugs, he said. February was the deadliest month for overdoses, with 13 followed by 7 in September and 6 in May. Areas of death. Gessner cautioned that areas of death do not necessarily reflect place of residence. So while this data could show concentrated areas of overdoses, it also has variables that could skew the data. Nonetheless, the most overdose deaths were found in Kankakee, which had 19. Bourbonnais had the second most with 10, followed by Bradley with 6. Gessner noted that the majority of the Narcan saves occurred in Bradley and Bourbonnais. Meanwhile, 9 people from outside the county counted towards the last overdose total since they were pronounced dead in Kankakee County Hospital. So they're saying probably 9 people were not really residents of that county, but they died in that county of drug overdose. That's how I'm interpreting it. So it's one of many, and it's a shame because when these people or autopsies, listen to this, because this is something I have been reading for a while too. The autopsies are so expensive, but they feel like they have to autopsy the bodies because it will help them determine what dealer provided the drug. Sometimes they don't know, even after they autopsy the body, especially if it's a new drug, they don't know where it came from. Drug overdose autopsies cost the county 76,670 last year. That's a lot of money compared to 49,000 in 2016. An increase in overdoses caused the hike, but there's more to it. Gessner said his office need to perform those autopsies in order to pursue drug-induced homicide charges. Last year, the Kankakee County State's Attorney's Office hired a full-time narcotics prosecutor and a part-time narcotics detective through a $100,000 grant from the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority to pursue drug-induced homicide charges. Gessner continues to pursue funding Narcan to help reduce overdose deaths. He also has spoke at local schools, government meetings, churches, and organizations. On January 16, he is bringing Tim Ryan, a renowned speaker, ex-addict, and author, from Dope to Hope, to speak with inmates at the Jerome Combs Detention Center in an effort to help them find help. Ryan also speak to the public on 7 p.m. at Kankakee County College. All right, so it's a former drug addict. I guess he's now trying to reach out and help others beat their habit to heroin and cocaine, fentanyl, or whatever they're on. But this is one of many counties around this country, and it seems like there's no end in sight to what's going on, y'all. But please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe, and also share the videos. You know, if you want to share them, by all means, share the videos. And don't forget to join me over on Black Junction TV and also on blackspot.com. Hopefully, we will see a lot of things going on for the good on those two sites. I know I'm looking forward to seeing what's to come in 2018. I really believe that ultimately we will be able to make our move over to those sites and not worry about so much trolling like, YouTube. You just don't have any control over the trolling that goes on, and that's a huge problem. But I'm glad to see that many YouTubers are now looking for alternatives, and mainly Black YouTubers are now looking for alternatives. And it's a great thing to see when I go over to Black Junction TV, and a lot of Black YouTubers are already on there, got their channels established and loading up videos. I say, keep it going, people. Keep it going. But thank you for watching this video, and peace, family.